Poland, a country that 35 years ago was breaking free from the shackles of a centrally planned economy, stands on the brink of a historic achievement. Its GDP per capita in purchasing power parity is nearly equal to Japan's, with projections suggesting it may surpass it in the year 2026. How is it possible that a nation which in 1989 was one of the poorest in Europe is catching up to Japan, the icon of the 20th century economic miracle? The answer lies in Poland's dynamic growth, market reforms, youthful population, and the distinct challenges faced by both countries. This story is proof that strategic decisions and favorable circumstances can radically alter a nation's trajectory. Japan, after World War II, became a symbol of economic revival. In the 1950s and 1960s, supported by reforms under American occupation authorities, investments in industry, and export-driven growth, the country transitioned from post-war ruin to the world's second-largest economy by 1989. Japan's GDP per capita at that time was approximately $30,000 in constant prices, with companies like Toyota, Sony, and Mitsubishi earning global acclaim. Meanwhile, Poland, trapped in a communist system, struggled with a planned economy, lack of innovation, and isolation from Western markets. In 1989, Poland's GDP per capita was a mere $6,687, comparable to levels in Brazil or Mexico. The fall of communism in 1989 sparked Poland's economic transformation. Leszek Balcerowicz's reforms, known as shock therapy, which included price liberalization, privatization, and openness to foreign investment, laid the foundation for dynamic growth. Poland's accession to the European Union in 2004 accelerated this process, granting access to the EU market, funds, and technology. Japan, though stable, has grappled with the so-called lost decades since the 1990s, following the bursting of a real estate bubble in 1991. Japan's average GDP growth from 2013 to 2023 was just 0.7% annually, hampered by deflation, an aging population, and public debt reaching 250% of GDP. According to data from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, from April 2024, Poland's GDP per capita in 2025 is approximately $54,500, while Japan's is $54,900. In 2024, Poland recorded $51,628, compared to Japan's $53,059, showing that Poland has nearly closed the gap. IMF projections suggest that Poland may overtake Japan in 2026, reaching $56,000, compared to Japan's $55,300. Since 1990, Poland has achieved an average GDP growth rate of 3.6% annually, with a peak of 7.1% in 2007. From 2004 to 2008, growth occasionally reached 5%, driven by EU integration and foreign investment. Japan, in contrast, grew at an average of 0.7% over the past decade, slowed by low domestic consumption and limited innovation dynamism in some sectors. Poland's economy is diversified, with services generating 58.8% of GDP, industry 34.2%, and agriculture 3.5% in 2023. Key sectors include automotive, example, Volkswagen and Fiat factories, electronics, LG, Samsung, and IT services, employing over 450,000 programmers. Poland's exports in 2024 reached $360 billion, with 15.3% from food products like apples and poultry. Japan relies on services, 71.4% of GDP, and industry, 27.6%, with dominance in automotive, electronics, and robotics. Japan's exports totaled $692.7 billion, primarily industrial products, 83.6%. Poland attracted €314 billion in foreign direct investment over the past 2 decades, thanks to special economic zones and a skilled workforce. Cities like Krakow, Wrocław, and Gdansk have become hubs for companies such as IBM, Google, and Amazon. Japan, a leader in innovation, spending 3.7% of GDP on research and development, faces lower productivity in some sectors due to an aging workforce and conservative corporate culture. Poland has a younger population, with an average age of about 42 years, compared to 49 years in Japan. Japan's population declined from 128,500,000 in 2010 to 122,600,000 in 2024, with a fertility rate of 1.4 children per woman. Poland, despite a low fertility rate of 1.3, benefits from immigration, particularly from Ukraine, accepting the most non-EU immigrants in Europe in 2021. Poland's unemployment rate dropped from 20% in 2003 to 2.6% in 2024, lower than the EU average of 5.8%. Japan maintains a low unemployment rate of 2.5%, but a shortage of young workers limits growth. Poland's average monthly wage in 2024 is around 9,000 zlotys, approximately $2,100, which with lower living costs offers comparable purchasing power to Japan's average wage of about $3,000 monthly. Poland's Gini coefficient, 30.5, is lower than Japan's, 32.1, indicating less income inequality. Poland invests in education, with over 40% of people aged 25 to 34 holding higher education degrees in 2023. The IT sector, with companies like CD Projekt and Asseco, generates significant export revenue. Japan, a leader in patents with 40 companies in the Fortune Global 500, struggles with slower adoption of new technologies in some sectors due to corporate conservatism. Poland faces regional disparities, with GDP per capita in Warsaw nearly double that of eastern regions. Public debt stands at 55.3% of GDP in 2024, rising to 58% in 2025, but remains far lower than Japan's. Dependence on energy imports and low fertility, 1.3 children per woman, could threaten future growth. Japan contends with high public debt, 250% of GDP, an aging population and deflation, which curbs domestic consumption. Although Japanese bonds are mostly denominated in yen and held by domestic investors, ensuring stability, the lack of reforms, such as opening to immigration, hinders growth potential. Poland is investing in green transformation, with plans to allocate 4.5 billion euros to modernize railways and phase out coal. Japan leads in eco-friendly technologies, such as Toyota's hybrid cars, but high energy costs post-Fukushima increase reliance on imported fossil fuels. IMF projections suggest Poland could reach a GDP per capita of $55,200 by 2030, surpassing not only Japan, but also Israel, Spain, and New Zealand. Japan, to regain momentum, must increase immigration and innovation. Poland, through market reforms, EU integration, and a youthful population, has nearly caught up to Japan in GDP per capita and is poised to surpass it in 2026. Japan, while a technological leader, grapples with demographic challenges and stagnation. The history of both nations shows that economic success demands constant adaptation. Will Poland sustain its momentum? And will Japan find a path to revival? The answer will unfold in the coming years.